What's up, team? Sergeant Searsy here, and I'm bringing you my rapid fire rogue. This thing has been slaying demons since you were just a wee lad. This thing's hot for season 3. It is dropping the big boys with the one tapper. That's right. I'm gonna get it to you rapid and in a hurry. Here we go. Like and subscribe for more Diablo content.
Greetings.
Alright guys, let's get into the build. We really focused on critical strike damage and overpower for our stats, pumping up life as high as we could for that overpower BAMO. Going into the gear, you're going to want a Godslayer crown on the head. Grasp of Shadows for the gloves for that +6 ranks and all core skills. Tybalt's Will, again, more damage X increase when you go unstoppable, which we will with the Shadow step. Beastfall boots in our boot slot. This is going to increase our damage X% based off the amount of resources we spend when we pop our ultimate. It's really going to boost those numbers right up to where we want them. Sky Hunter is our bow that we're going to use. I'd consider this thing best in slot. All that critical strike damage really puts the numbers on the paper. Banished Lord's Talisman. This is going to give us that guaranteed overpower with an increase in critical strike damage after we spend 300 of our primary resource. And of course, what rogue wouldn't be complete without condemnation? This is just going to boost our core skill damage even further. For our ancestral chest, we just focused on something with a lot of life to increase that overpower even further, as well as a way to plus up our armor just to give us a little more tanky capability on this one. For the jewelry, we focused again on critical strike damage. We also have critical strikes with core skills increase attack speed, so I can get that 300 resource spent faster. And our second ring, we focused on basic skills increasing our core skill damage up by 30x. Our second one-hander is a method to increase our damage even further by standing still. We get another 30x multiplier to our crit damage.
I'm not ready yet.
For our specialization, we went combo points. It's going to increase our raw damage output based on the combo points we have stored. Now let's tackle the skill tree, starting with the top. For our basic attack, we went with puncture, enhanced puncture, and fundamental puncture. I have 5 points put into puncture. You don't have to, but that's where I put them. For our core skill, we went into rapid fire. We have 13 points. Enhanced rapid fire and improved rapid fire. We also picked up sturdy and siphoning strikes. Moving down, we got that 1 rank into Shadow Step to make us unstoppable. Enhanced Shadow Step. And finally, Methodical Shadow Step. We also grabbed Rugged and Reactive Defense to help us stay on our feet. And we put some points into Weapon Mastery to increase our damage to vulnerable enemies by 12x. We picked up Agile to help us dodge some of these attacks. Dark Shroud, we primarily use this for damage mitigation and to increase our movement speed through enhanced Dark Shadow and subverting Dark Shadow. And then we picked up some Exploit on top of Malice. Moving down, we got 3 into Shadow Crash. And then we got Shadow Imbuement maxed out with Enhanced Shadow Imbuement and Blended Shadow Imbuement, as well as stacking Precision Imbuement to increase critical strike damage with imbued skills. For our mastery, we have Shadow Clone. Ultimate, I'm sorry. For our ultimate, we went Shadow Clone, Prime Shadow Clone, and Supreme Shadow Clone. This is going to allow us to proc the Beastfall Boots, Adrenaline Rush for energy regeneration, as well as haste for movement speed and energy regeneration. And for our specialization, we went into Precision. This is going to guarantee critical damage, so we don't have to waste points in critical chance, as well as boosting the overall critical strike damage by 198%. Diving into the Paragon board, a lot to work with here. Do what you see fit, but we're going to go over it real quick. Following the left side of the starter board, we scooped up Ranger for our first glyph socket to increase that marksmanship damage, as well as giving me some tankiness with a ranged weapon out. Following the left side, we move up. The first board we're going to place is Eldritch Bounty. This is just going to help with that imbuement skill damage from the Shadow Imbuement. Rare Node for more Shadow Imbuement. Pushing up the left side, we're going to exit this board. Moving on, we're going to be moving to the Tricks of the Trade. This will allow Shadow Step to set up a 25% X on our core marksman damage. Moving down, we scooped up the Rare Node Havoc to increase critical strike chance. Our glyph socket next is Infusion. This is going to increase our imbued skill damage even further. Scooped up the Rare Node Lawless for a little tankiness. Wrapped around for the Tricks of the Trade, then pushed up and left to Shadow Resilience. Again, we just wanted the maximum life out of this to increase that overpower even further. And then the other Rare Node we got was Brawler, just to help us stay on our feet a little bit and increase some damage to close targets by small fractions. Moving up the board, we went for No Witnesses. This is going to give us 10x on our skill that we proc after our ultimate, which is where our core skill for our primary damage. We picked up the Rare Node Ruin. This is 50% damage to healthy enemies. Ideally, the first shot is the dead shot. Next Rare Node, Knowledge. Further increase in damage as well as shadow damage from our Shadow Imbuments. And then the Glyph socket is Night Stalker. Again, increasing that shadow damage even more. And the other Rare Node we scooped up was Training, again, Maximum Life, increasing that overpower even further. We're going to exit right of this board, moving on to the Exploit Weakness. We're not actually going to pull this legendary node, but we did want the rare node, Artifice, for that vulnerable damage. The glyph socket we used on this one is Efficacy. This is going to increase that vulnerable damage even more, as well as a 10x on imbuement skills. And then we're going to exit this board, going back down to our second board. Scooping up the rare node on this second board, which was Eldritch Bounty. For the glyph socket, we got Combat, increasing critical strike damage. And then we scooped up the rare node for even more imbued skill damage.